Welcome to the Coaching Book Club podcast, the show that empowers coaches through books. I'm Christy Stuber, here with my friend and co-host Ken McKellar, and today we're talking about Talk to Me Nice by Minda Harts, a book that, for me, felt like a bridge between the environments we create as leaders and the relationships we build as coaches. It's all about trust, and if you're a coach, you already know how central trust is to the work we do. And here's what you can expect in this episode. First, we'll start with a quick overview of the book. Next, we'll break down 3 key takeaways that stood out to us. And finally, we'll explore how these concepts connect to real-world coaching challenges and help you build confidence, tackle imposter syndrome, and grow as a coach. Whether you've read this book before or are hearing about it for the first time, you'll leave with actionable tools to strengthen your skills. So let's get started. Hey, Ken.
How you doing? Good to see you.
Good. I don't know if you know, that's becoming a catchphrase for me. Hey, Ken. So, what about this book mattered to you and your coaching practice?
Well, this book was all about trust. Um, like if this book was a competency, it would be competency 4, cultivating trust and safety. And I think trust, I think everything hinges, I think all the coaching relationship hinges on the cultivating of a trusting and safe experience.
Yeah. Minda takes something that is a little amorphous, a little left to intuition, and put words to it, created these 7 trust languages um, that for me helped me think about which of those languages help me feel trust in my relationships and which ones do I need to make sure I'm speaking to my clients based on what they need to hear or how they want to hear or experience trust. I have a lot of takeaways. So I'll start with you. What's a takeaway that you have from this book?
Well, like you just mentioned, these 7, core um, concepts or words. Out of the 7, I like them all, but I love 3 of them:
Mm, which ones?
feedback,
Mm-hmm.
acknowledgement, and follow through. And the
Oh,
reason why I like this in the coaching relationship is I think that's what a coaching relationship is: opportunity for feedback, for either the coach to provide some sort of feedback, but particularly for the client to have the opportunity to give feedback to themselves based off of what they're uncovering. Acknowledgement. I think we step over acknowledgement a lot in terms that when we have the opportunity just to acknowledge that something exists, that is there, or something that we want to do, that we want to change, that's the first chess piece off the board in terms of acknowledging, hey, I want to do this. Or even on the back end of that, acknowledging that something happened or that movement is taking place. And then follow through. That's that competency 8, facilitating client growth is the follow through of these concepts, making it happen.
mm. Yeah, and we could talk about each one of these in great detail. I'll start with feedback. She describes a loop: active listening, mutual respect, and revisiting. And I think that's what you're talking about as well. Like for me, it's just check-ins we do during coaching. So, how are we doing? Where are you where you want to be? Those kinds of questions. But even bigger was the expectation gap that she mentions. And she mentioned the concept of when you're onboarding in a new role. So when the reality of the role doesn't match what the recruiter told you it would be. And this reminded me of Cultivating Coachability by Claire Norman. That where is there an expectation gap perhaps with our clients coming in to the coaching engagement? And what is our responsibility which I think is very clear. Our responsibility is to be clear about what coaching is and isn't, what our role is in the client's journey, and how that aligns with what the client was expecting. I know a lot of times when I'm meeting a new client, one that I've been matched with perhaps on a platform, we'll have our initial conversation. I'll talk about how I think coaching works or in my way I think about it. And then I'll always ask, how does this align with what you were expecting? Because that's the opportunity to explore that expectation gap. Because a lot of people will say, "Oh, I thought it was going to be more like mentoring," or "I thought it was going to be more like," and then we can talk about that. Okay, so let's talk about that and what you were expecting and where there is overlap and where there might not be. Um, and just I know in my own experience, I've joined things and had a different expectation coming in based on assumptions that I was making. And then when it didn't meet my expectation, the amount of trust that was dropped, um, and the possibility of trust being restored if there are then frequent open feedback loops. And I think I promised you I was going to talk about Mike Tomlin today, Pittsburgh Steelers head coach who recently stepped down. Um, and I've been reading a lot of articles about his players or by his players about what they've experienced with him and his leadership. And one of the things that comes up over and over again with different players is how he would always be checking in with them. And it was never like, "Oh, how are you? How was your weekend?" But it was, "How's your kid? Do you like your new car? What's going on with your knee? That pass looked really great today." But just like constantly knowing his players and checking in with them and how that developed the trust and respect that they then had for him as their leader. So I just said a lot about feedback. I want to pause there to see if you have anything you want to add before I go to acknowledgement.
No, I love that. I mean, it reminds me of Tina Turner's song. What's trust got to do with it? Got to do with it? What that was in the name of this? What's love got to do with it? What's trust got to do
I think it was what's love got to do with it. Like, but I was so convinced by your performance, I was buying into it.
with it? No, I do think that like trust starts to shape communication, decision making, leadership. I mean, it starts to shape the relationship. So I enjoyed what you just articulated thoroughly.
Well, thank you. Then I'm going to move on to acknowledgement because, as you said when we started, this book is all about competency four. It's all about trust and safety. Except I'm going to pull in competency 8.08 right here. Coaches should acknowledge client progress and success. Um, so Minda Harts talks about importance of acknowledging people's progress as a way of creating trust. And I agree. And as I was thinking about this in terms of the coaching engagement, I was thinking how we do it matters, right? So some people love a big celebration. Some want a small nod of like, I can see you're moving forward. And so for me, I took away even asking, how do you like to be acknowledged? How do you want to be acknowledged? Also being careful that I'm not doing the cheerleading. Good job, you. But it's about the progress and it's concrete. We know that aligns with the competency. But more importantly, what is the client's trust language around acknowledgement? And recognizing it's not performance, it's not that cheer, it's about resonance in the relationship and being respectful for how the person wants to receive the acknowledgement and offering it to them in that way.
Gary Chapman, he wrote a whole book about that, the five love languages,
Mm-hmm.
really articulating how people like to be acknowledged. He also wrote another book called um, Around Appreciation, right?
Mm.
He uses the five love languages and talks about it in a way of appreciation, but how people like to be appreciated. So it goes back to Tina Turner.
And then the last one you said is follow through. And I also, this is one of my trust languages for sure. She writes, keeping your word at work lays a foundation for genuine, trusting relationships with others and oneself. And I was trying to think, well, how does this look in coaching? And I think this looks like, as coaches, doing what we said we do when we said we do it. So it might be sending a resource, it might be showing up on time. It might be even the whole onboarding and the coaching engagement. So I was thinking about what's a question I can be asking myself. And I think for me is like, am I clearly articulating what others could expect from me? And am I following through on that? And if not, um, how do I know? And maybe that's through opening up feedback, going back to the last trust language for my clients to share.
And the other piece of that is, are the clients articulating what they're going to follow through on?
Mm,
I mean, because it's like, hey, I want to do X, Y, and Z, but we never talk about, that who can support you. What are going to be some of your barriers there, right? So that you can really explore that next step or that action in a way that you can be as close to successful before hanging up this call as possible.
oh, that's so good. Right. So how can we set up our clients for success, help our clients set themselves up for success in their follow through so that they can develop more trust in themselves and their capabilities?
Right.
That's why you're the MCC. Look at you.
Tina Turner, baby. What?
All right, Tina Turner. So what are you going to be applying into your own coaching practice?
That acknowledgement piece. Um, you know, I want to take a look at that because, recently, September, the competencies changed a little bit for the International Coaches Federation. And I just want to glimpse at that um, acknowledgement piece because you're right. It's not about cheerleading, right? And really, as I sit here right now, it's the client really acknowledging themselves because
Mhm.
they're doing the work, right? Acknowledge themselves for what they've done and what they're about to do. So me saying, "Good job, you can win, Jesse," right? I think that I want to pull back from that, and then just inquire, how do you want to acknowledge yourself for the work you did in the session today?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, great question. It connects a bit to what I want to remember to do in my coaching practice, which is asking at the start of engagement, what does a trusting relationship look like to you?
Mm,
And as a way of learning, probably not giving them these trust languages, but learning, oh, this is what trust looks like to me. Um, and maybe in there's a way to even ask about, what does acknowledgement look like? What does feedback look like? You can explore some of these if you want to. So you're showing vulnerability, you're also getting feedback, and you can more likely meet them with what they need to create that trust between you.
you know, one of the things that I liked about this book is the stories that she told. I mean,
Mhm.
she related to a lot of stuff related to corporate America, but she told a really funny one, right? I thought it was funny, where God was the CEO, and he hired Adam, and then Eve brought his wife in. A little nepotism going on there to run the joint, and you had this disgruntled employee over on the side, the snake, you know. But
Mhm.
I thought that was good. Um, Read the book, folks. I know you're over there saying, "What's Ken talking about? That's not even funny." Read the book.
Read
Read the book. You'll
the
giggle.
book. It'll help close the loop on that. And I think that's going to wrap up our discussion for today. So we've covered powerful insights from Talk to Me Nice, from the human side of trust to the 7 trust languages, to how we can build stronger, safer coaching relationships by being intentional, transparent, and aligned. We hope these takeaways have sparked new ideas for your practice and inspired you to dig deeper into this incredible resource. Thanks for spending your time with us today. Your commitment to learning and growth is what this podcast is all about. And if you enjoyed today's episode, make sure to subscribe to the Coaching Book Club on your favorite podcast platform so you never miss an episode. And in the show notes, you'll find a link to the book guide for the book so you can earn CCEs while you read. We'd also love to connect with you on LinkedIn. Follow us for more coaching insights and updates about upcoming episodes. And we're always on the lookout for new books to review. If you've got a favorite that's made an impact on you, send us a message. It might be featured in a future episode. Thanks for being part of our community. And until next time, happy coaching.